G'day folks, Gary here from Platform 1 MRC. It's time for a layout update. Hey folks, how you doing? I hope you've all been well. Hey, just a shout out to the guys who have just joined me. I've now tipped 502 subscribers. Pretty happy with that, considering this time last year I think I had about 170, so things are looking up. So what have I been working on? Well, as you can see, the factory here now has doors. What I've done there is just used a piece of foam core glued to the back, pierced a little hole, made a little door handle. I don't know if you can see down there, but yeah, just a door handle that made out of, I think, 0.68mm styrene rod. A little trick I learned off Boomer Dioramas. So that works pretty effectively to make the knobs, using a cigarette lighter, forming a bulb on the end of the styrene, and blowing it out, and you've got yourself a little knob. So this is a method that Boomer Diorama shared on his YouTube channel. Just a shout out to Boomer too. If you haven't caught up with him, check him out. I'll leave a link below. But this is how you go about making the doorknobs on the models. Here I have a piece of 0.64mm evergreen styrene rod, number 219, and cigarette lighter. So what you do, you light her up, and you just bring the lighter close to the styrene. And what it'll do, the heat will start to make a little ball on the end. I don't know if you can see that. So if I can bring that in closer for you, probably not. But anyway, you get that little knob on the end, and that's your doorknob. So we're back here at the unloading area where the silos sit on the food processing plant. You can see that now I have added the stairs here and the ones over the other side here. These were constructed out of 1mm card that I had lying around in my spares box, all laid up on top of each other, glued together with a bit of white glue, and then the side put onto it. They were painted up to match the existing stairwell just here. So they all match in, they got all that aged, weathered look. Now once these silos go back into position, I need to decide on whether it was a concrete floor around the base of the silos or a gravel floor. I would assume that they would have had a concrete floor there, especially when they were pumping corn syrup from the railway wagons into the large tanks here. So if there was any spill, they could wash any excess away, possibly down a drain or into a capture area. So I'll decide on that later on, have a look at a few prototype photos and make a decision on that soon. Well, I've also fixed these air conditioners in place now. They're firmly secured, that one and this one here. I've actually got one a little bit further down as well. I still need to run some conduits from the air conditioners into switch boxes, fuse boxes, whatever you'd like to call them, on the top of the building. Now most of that power would probably just drop down through the ceiling, or the power supply drop down through the ceiling and disappear, rather than bring it through to the front of the facade of the building and run it down the outside wall. These buildings down here, or the air cons, as you can see, I'm just going to turn this around. You can see I've got one there, and there's a larger one a bit further down. Now I haven't fitted this one. You could say it's just deliberation, that's why I haven't done that. But yeah, these ones here probably run a conduit across to the front of the building to a box on the side of the back of the facade there. That'll happen in good time. Then I'll weather everything up, tidy them all up, and maybe a bit of junk left on the roof and what have you. We'll see how we go. As you can see, the fences are in place now, and I've added a fair bit of vine to the fence here. The reason for the vine is I do have that break in the fence there, and it is quite soft. You can see the movement there. That is where the layout actually splits into when I fold it over. As you recall, behind here I've got the hinge posts. The fence has been extended on the front of the layout, and there's a set of gates put in. Railway gates to run down the roadway beside the railway line used by the railroad crews. Again, more grasses, more weeds and what have you is being thrown in and around. I have been watching a lot of Tolga East Coast videos on YouTube, and they're pretty good for you know, checking out the scenery detail. So some of the things I've picked up on that is, you know, stuff lying around the tracks like car tyres, cardboard boxes. I'll just zoom down here a little bit closer for you. You can see I've got a car tyre in there, a couple of cardboard boxes, and if I pan back this way, you can see I've made a couple of cardboard boxes and just scattered around the, you know, the railway here. You know, things that have been thrown out of the warehouse, thrown off a wagon, what have you. So still want a couple more in there, you know, bits of paper, you know, cardboard as well. Just dotted around the layout. Now I will be throwing a few more car tyres in, especially down against these fences and what have you. So expect to see maybe in the next update, you know, a lot more junk just scattered around the railway. Further down the line here, I've added some scrub. It's basically sea foam supplied by a company called Joe Fix Studios. I gather they're American and it's been imported here to Australia. I pay around about $13–14 for a sizable carton of the sea foam. Now it's been covered with some Woodland Scenics ground foam, which I've actually blended through like a coffee grinder just to make it a little bit finer. I do like the see-through nature of the branches on this, which really adds some detail to the bushes. You can also see I've added a couple of car tyres and a few more cardboard boxes at this end of the layout. I'll see if I can pan around this way. Yep, there's a cardboard box down there and next to the tyre, bottom right hand corner. So that really makes a difference. It certainly greens it up and takes away that harsh look of the industrial opposite end of the layout where I've got the shipping containers and the concrete buildings. So not looking too bad. A lot more grass, a lot more weeds down there, and it certainly made a difference. I've even put some grass weeds around the base of this building here. Bit of a close-up of this building. As you can see, more grass around the base of it and some rubbish in there, rubbish between the rails of that siding. I have painted the back of the building black here to match the frame, and I've added all the ancillaries to the roof, notably the chimneys and the ducting here, extractor fan, what have you. And it finally got a door. I'll just come around here a bit further. There we have it there. It's got a bit of graffiti. I guess it wouldn't be Miami without a bit of graffiti somewhere on the buildings. So that's all firmly set into place. That nail there is just a safe stop measure so I don't overrun the edge of the layout here. As you can see, there's grass and what have you put down through the base of the building there. I will add a few more greener weeds and a bit of other rubbish. Maybe a downpipe or two on the building and a couple of vines growing up it. Give it that real neglected look. Back at the other end of the layout, it's another little scenic item I decided to throw in. As we know, along here is the service road for the railroad crew, workers, what have you. And I decided to get across this track here, I needed a grade crossing in there. Okay, that track doesn't go anywhere because the points are set for the main line run down through here, not so much this branch. That branch line there is only about 6 inches long, which barely holds a wagon. It's been constructed out of the sand and grout, the same method that I use for doing the scenery back here and the rest of the layout. Although this has been put on fairly thick, the outside's brought up the rail height. What I ended up doing was mixing the sand and grout together and combining a little bit of the road base here that you can see here, which is the black. I painted the surface first with PVA, then put this on, leveled it out how I wanted it, wet it down with the IPA or isopropyl alcohol, then used just your typical ballast mix, which is PVA or white glue, water and a drop of detergent to set that hard as a rock. Now I did make sure that I left a flangeway along the rail here, and as you can see, a wagon can roll into the over the crossing, I should say. Not a problem at all. Not that that'll ever happen, but it does have that ability to be able to, you know, put something there if I need to. Now, if you recall in the last video, I was deciding on what I should do around this front hinge post here. Well, I did consider a low relief building or perhaps more containers. I didn't want to take the effect away from the containers up the back there and have another pile in here stacked 3 high, creating a bigger view block. So I decided to go through my spares box to see what I had left over from some kit bashing, and this is what I've created. Now that's been knocked up out of leftover pieces from the Miranda's banana kit, a Walters kit. I have shortened walls down, what have you, had to make some other side walls, patch a few windows in because I only had 3 windows left, and this building, I'll just spin it around, sits perfectly over the hinge block here. I'll see if I can lower it into position for you. There is quite a fragile post on the other end there where the lean-to is. Well, I'll just get that in there. It's not quite going to fit, so there we go. There we have it there. Now I'll post up a few photos of how I pieced it all together. Just a couple of shots, you know, before and after paint too. So it bodes well on the scene, and as you noticed on the front, it did have a rather large, you know, door there, that green one there, the large one, which would have been rail served at one stage. You could imagine that in the past, where the access road is here, would have been another line servicing the small factory. Now I'm just going to turn that into a little foundry or something, you know, and put a back wall on it. I left the back wall off it deliberately to show you guys what I've been up to. So that's the view block that I've created to hide this horrible looking hinge post. Well, there we go, folks. Thanks for watching this month. Big thank you to all our new subscribers. Appreciate you joining me. And stay tuned, and sooner or later I'll get this operational video up. Anyway, take care, stay safe, and keep on modelling. Cheers, Gary.